another brand new episode, webinar number 672, sponsored by Institute of Global Professionals. And the topic is brain based learning. So, this is another great opportunity to learn with IGP. So thank you so much for joining with us right now. I'm greetings all of you too. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome once again to our Institution of Global Professionals International Field Webinar. So thank you so much for joining with us in this live session, and I would like to request everyone, please stay with us till the end of our program, because we have our honorable speaker from Egypt in this session. So let's see our comments first. Okay. So already we have our participants joined from different places and time zones. We have Ma'am Evelyn Pivipuri joined from YouTube. Okay, she's watching live from YouTube. We have Ma'am Manolito, yes. We have Sir Ricky Adhikari, Sir Alexander Alvarez. Good afternoon, sir. Okay, we have Ma'am Sailami, Ma'am Jenny, Ma'am Annalie, Ma'am Isaiah from Kenya. And so many participants already joined from our Facebook and YouTube social site. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm requesting everyone, please mention at least your 5 friends in our comment box and share this live in your newsfeed, Facebook groups, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all the social media you are using. So, dear participants, once again, I'm your host, Nasreen Nisha from Bangladesh for this session. Okay. So, dear participants, let's start our program with hashtag feed your skills, hashtag IGP. Yes, it's our IGP's mantra or slogan that you have already know that. All right. So thank you so much for joining. I've seen the comment section. I'm just reading. All right. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, really I'm proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel respected and privileged to host this webinar. And I'm very happy to have all of you, and I'm very happily welcome you to our institution of global professionals. And I'm sure that you all will have many takeaways and payoffs from this webinar. Each time you can give a react and comment in our live program. So don't forget to give a thumbs up to our Facebook official page and subscribe our YouTube channel. You can also see our new page that is IGP Kids. So don't forget to give a thumbs up also in our new page. Yes. Okay. So dear participants, let's learn and grow together. Because we believe that power is gained by sharing knowledge, not holding it. Am I right? Okay, so I'm going to share a little concept about IGP right now with all of us. So IGP is a non-profit international educational training institute. IGP serves students and community resource providing social holistic work and education for proficient generation of IGP is leading on online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. Yes, and we organized our webinar, online, offline courses, etc. by best and trained speakers from all over the globe to create a best learning platform for all of you. And our mission is empower people, empower our youth and Indians. So there is no age restriction for our learners. That is why we have our new page for our kids. Kids learner, yes. So I'm requesting everyone, please give a thumbs up to our new page. I will share the page link in our comment box while we'll start our all right, and we will proceed our program step by step. And every day, IGP provide 3 lifetime membership certificates among our participants, and it's very on their participations. So be active in our program so that you can get a lifetime certificate. Yes, lifetime membership certificate. Yes. Okay, so let's start our program with IGP's mantra that is feed your skills. All right, so let's welcome our honorable speaker from Egypt, Ma'am Aishin Muhammad Ahmed. Am I right, ma'am? Welcome,
Hello,
ma'am.
good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Am I pronouncing your name right, ma'am?
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so here is your presentation.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I would before I start, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Institute of Global Professionals and Ms. Nasreen for this great opportunity to be with you.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
and I believe in every word that she said earlier about learning together and growing our minds. And that's why I chose to start this program with the brain based learning because it's very important to understand about how the brain works, how does it function, how learning happens, and then we will move into how we can use it into planning, specifically for teachers and for also for the students and parents if they want. So if we apply these methods in our lives, I think it will be more organized, more beneficial, and more professional. Okay. So before I start, I would like to ask you to be very interactive, to be very engaged. Please comment, answer the questions in the comment part. And please, I would like to ask you to save your questions until the question and answer part. And I will also would encourage you to write your comments and all answers in the comment part. So, as a start, I would like to ask you, what is the brain? What do you know about the brain? You can write in the comment part your comments uh, and your answers. Thank you, Ms. Isaiah. So, again, my question is, what do you think is the brain? How can we identify or come up with a one word or two words definition for the brain? Thank you, Ms. AK. Okay, so I would like to say that the brain is the organ itself that is controls every single part and action and speech and thinking in the body, in the human body, and it's very similar to the hard disk and the computer. It's what processes everything and anything. As Miss Eveline said in the common part, complex part of the human part of the human body, which is a good word to use, a complex part. Miss Sue said it's a memory, and yes, it contains the memory. Um, but let's look together at what is the brain and what are the brain parts. So as you can see, these are the brain parts and how do they function. It has the voluntary movement motor skills development area in this red part on the top. The green part, the dark green part after it is for the sensation. The yellow part in between is language comprehension. This light green is for the vision. Right in the middle for this purplish part is the memory. And also on the other side, the voluntary eye movement in this brown spot, motor and speech production in this blue spot, higher intellect and self-motor and inhibition, emotions are in this the biggest part of the brain. It contains the emotions and feelings in this big part, and of course, the auditory and the equilibrium and muscle coordination. So these are the main parts that everyone knows about in the brain. So how does it function? The frontal lobe is for the problem solving, creativity thinking, and personality. The temporal lobe is for the memories. The brainstem, basics, basic like function. The cerebellum, balance, coordination, motor learning. The optical lobe is for the vision, and that's why it is right in the back, and it's a very sensitive area, by the way. And the partial lobe for visual functions, reading, understanding, language. So I believe that most of us know about this, some information about these parts of the brain. If we dig deeper, we will find out more about the function of the brain. So if we take each and every part of the brain and how each one works, we will find out some specific parts for each area, and in the same time, some common or let's say overlapping function for each part. And this will we will know and learn about later in this presentation, that every part in the brain is connected to the other one, and the brain function all together in the same time. It's not that this part will work and then when it's done with his work, it will move to another part and etc. No, they all work parallelly, and they all work at the same time due to the formation and the composition of the neuro cells, the nerve cells. So, for example, as we mentioned, the frontal lobe is for initiation, problem solving, judgment. It's very logical part, and it's mainly actually in one of the sides of the brain, because as we all know, the brain is formed of two parts, the left part and the right part. So in the frontal lobe, we have, as we mentioned, the initiation, the problem solving, judgment, uh, inhibition of behavior, planning, anticipation, self monitoring, and motor planning, personality, emotions, awareness of abilities, limitation, organization, attention and concentration, mental flexibility, and speaking expressed language. You will find out that this is composed of, a mix of logical function and in the same time spiritual or moral function more than one of them independently. The second area in the partial lobe, we have the senses of touch. We have differentiation in size and color and shape, spatial perception, visual perception, like the academic skills, specifically reading. The optical lobe contains the visual and reading again, and perception and cognition of printed words. So if we look at these two lobes, we will find that they are kind of integrated together, but in the same time, This one is focusing on reading skills in the visual perception, and this one is in the understanding of the printed words. We also have the temporal lobe, which contains the memory, the hearing, the understanding language, receptive language, organization and sequencing, and musical awareness. The brainstem controls the breathing, heart rate, swallowing, flexes to seeing and hearing, and startling response. It also controls sweating, blood pressure, digestion, the team pressure, many things that are voluntary or involuntary in the body. It also affects level of alertness, the ability to sleep, and senses of balance. Okay, so in the cerebellum lobe, which is this part in red, the coordination of voluntary movement, which is very much connected and integrated with the brainstem, balance and equilibrium, and some memory of reflexes, motor acts. So these are in more details the cognitive and some metacognitive skills of the brain, but we focused here in this part on the cognitive skills because we all learned and taught and been taught in this idea in the idea of cognitive skills. But what we aim to learn in this session, how does it work? How we can use all these skills to reach the metacognition of the brain function, the metacognition of learning within a learner, whether this learner is a student, a child, or even an adult. So the aim of this learning, the aim of this understanding of the brain function in education will tell us how we can learn in our best ways and how we can develop from our skills and how we can help our students, how we can help our learners, our children to learn and develop. So, as I mentioned earlier, the brain is divided into two parts, the left part and the right part. What is common known is that the analytical part is in the left part, and the right part is more for the creativity, for the imagination, for the general intuitive and conceptual, big pictures, emphasize figurative and irregular. The left part is more with the logical, precise, repetitive, organized, and detailed, scientific, and more, literal and sequential. So, from this division, we can say that most of us used to only work on and use the left part, especially and specifically in schools. So we are not used on learning and teaching using more creative ways, using more imagination. We all go to, specifically in science and math about facts. So in facts, we are using the left part, the left side of the brain. So previously as a teacher, it was hard to me to include the imagination in teaching math. It was hard for me to include the to look at the big picture in teaching science and math. I used to receive all these questions from my students: why we are learning math, what am I going to do with it, if I'm going to use the computer or the calculator, why do I have to do mental math? So these are all some important questions that when I study, how do they learn? How do they like to learn? How can I develop their skills? I'll be able to answer these questions and show them the importance of learning for life, not just to work and learn for marks or for grades, not just work to, make my parents' dream come true or to become their favorite child or to become their favorite doctor or whatever they wish to see me. Actually, I will know how to teach my students, my children, how to be creative in whatever field they are working within, how to be a long life learners, and how to remain as learners all the time, to know and learn from experiences and mistakes, and understand that mistakes are allowed, because they are each mistake is a learning opportunity. Each and every mistake is a new experience added to me, regardless of my age and my position and where do I work or where I use it. So they need to know and understand that they are allowed to use their skills, do their favorite thing, learn in the way that they prefer and they enjoy, in order to be creative. And creativity here comes to into problem solving, into getting new and more uh, innovative ideas, and so on. So let's move to the next part, which is the neuroscience. And how does the brain function? How do the neuro cell work? So, what is the neuroscience? The neuroscience is a branch of psychology that is concerned with how a person's cognitive and behavior are related to the brain and the rest of the nervous system. Professionals in this branch of psychology often focus on how injuries or illness of the brain affect cognitive and behavior function. So, if I ask you from this slide to choose one important word that may conclude all this slide, which one would you choose? Write me in the comments, please, one word that catch your attention, that and is related to the neuropsychology. If I was to choose one word, yes, you can write your comments um, in the comment section, please. Yes, the word psychology. Thank you. Behaviors. Thank you, Mr. Jack. Cognitive. Thanks. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bea. Psychology. So if we think about the words that we chose, we will find nerves very connected to learning, and at the same time very connected to body movement and the voluntary and involuntary function of the body. Psychology is also connected to the same thing, cognition, and also. So what we want to say from this slide is, as long as the brain is functioning well, as long that there are no injuries, as long that there are no illnesses in the brain, so learning must happen. Whenever we find some, this dyslexia, maybe some retardness, some slow learners, we may just, just examine them to work on and understand if there are some illnesses, some injuries that are causing this, or they are just, lost their first part of learning when they were very early age. So, in order to understand how the neuropsychology works and how the brain functions, we need to understand that as long as the brain is clear, as long as the brain is well and good and no injuries, no illnesses, nothing happened during their life that injured any parts in their brain, in their head, or any part, so the learning must happen. And this learning, we don't mean by this learning, we don't mean just learning happening in school and just the academics, but also all the learning experiences in life and all the experiments, because we all know that our children are scientists. They were born scientists. They are examining everything and exploring everything. And this is actually a science experiment for them. So as long as the brain is good and well, and no illnesses, no damages, so the learning must happen. And do you see these spots, these light spots? These light spots are showing us. Uh, okay, Miss Evelyn is saying that it's false. I think you mean that it's false as long as the brain is well. Learning maybe doesn't happen. If you can clarify why you're saying false, we can discuss this. But what I'm saying is, as long as the brain is not damaged, learning can happen. But it doesn't mean that if there are some damages, that learning will not happen. It's not what I'm saying. Okay. So back to our presentation. What I'm saying is, learning can happen from imitation. Learning can happen from uh, um, repetition, from specific and clear instructions from the teacher or the guide or the facilitator. So, how we can prove this? There are so many ideas, so many things, but I will give you now an idea of how we can teach others without teaching them. Actually, how we can guide them and show them how they can use their skills without actually telling them that this is what you need to do, or giving them orders, or uh, 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 you're not able to do this, even if they don't know about the things that we are going to teach them. If even if they are not musicians, they can still play music, even if they are not, without learning it, without just imitation, without just guiding them through things. And this is how learning happens. It's as fast as once it is out from the neurocell, it is there. Once I'm thinking about the word, I say it. Once I think about the word, I visualize it. So if you put yourselves in this experiment and just close your eyes and think uh, um, of a tree, none of us will see TRAA. Everyone will see a tree, a specific tree with the colors. Maybe it's a spring tree, so it's all green. Maybe it's in the autumn, so no leaves on it, or the leaves are falling apart. But whenever I say a word, you will visualize it, because this is how your brain thinks and connect things. The same idea as your brain functioning with your body, moving your hand, moving your tongue, moving your lungs to breathe, and moving your heart too. So the same thing happens with learning too. So in the next part, I will ask Ms. Nasiri to play the video, um, because in this video we will see how learning was happening without planning and without mentioning and intentioning to teach others. So Ms. Nasiri, are you with us? You can of course use this video. Yes, this is the video. This is the link. I don't know if I can share this video, this link, or to play it together. Ms. Nasiri. Okay. So I will share the video with you. I'll see inshallah if it works. I'll press on share screen. and ask for now. Do you see my screen? Do you see the video? If yes, please comment. If there are any problems, with the audio or the video, please let me know. Do you see the video? Okay.
Talking about expectations. What? Ba, 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 ba. Okay. Yeah. Now, what's interesting to me about that is, regardless of where I am, anywhere, every audience gets that. But it doesn't matter, that's just, the pentatonic scale for some reason.
If you're looking for a job in neuroscience, I think
So, okay. So in this, I think we're back, right? We're back from the video window. Great. From this video, I would ask you now to tell me if you're going to comment on this video in one word or in a sentence, what would you say? What did you see in this video? What was happening in that video? There was any learning in this video? Yes, exactly. So commanding through act. Yes, thank you, Ms. Riza. So there was, yes, commanding through act. We can say it in a different word. It was a non-verbal communication. Um, Actually, he was able to teach the audience a song, a tone, a tune, many things in only 3 minutes. The audience were able to create a song without training on it, with just few simple steps and few simple guidance. And this is, if you focused at the end of the video, one of the scientists sitting in the back, he told him, if you're looking for a job in the neuroscience, please let us know. And he's just a music teacher. He was only a music teacher who understood how the brain works. He understood how to grab the attention of the audience regardless of their age, of their profession, of their interest. He was more than a professional teacher. He was someone who understands how theories work, how things work, how does this brain can function, and how can he teach others. So from this part, we will move to the brain-based learning and its principles. So the brain-based learning it's an understanding of learning based on the structure and the function of the brain. It is knowing and understanding how the brain processes and remembers information. It is also based on the theory that everybody does learn, and learning will occur if the brain is not prohibited from fulfilling its normal process. And this what actually confirms what we said earlier, that when the brain is functioning well, learning must happen. If any damage happened to the brain, yes, learning will still happen, but with not without the efficiency in the same way, if the brain is all if all good and safe. So what we want to say here is the understanding of the process of how learn the structure of the brain will help us in the process of learning. Okay, so the thing is, we all need to understand this part in order to be able to engage our students into using their skills, using their attention, using their engagement in how do they learn. Not just the young students, it also happened to the students in the college, to the learners, to the employee, to whoever I'm teaching or learning from, or working with, or even living with in just the normal life, the current life we learn from in each step and each part. Learning doesn't stop when the lesson bell ring goes. Learning is carried with the students and with the learners to everywhere they go. They carry with them everything they have and they take in school, everything that they experience. A look or a word from a friend or from a teacher or from the principal, emotions that they experience, anything they go through as an experience, they take and carry with them to continue their life, their journey, their day at the club, within the society, at home. It will reflect their behavior and their experience and their future with their peers, with their families, with their friends, with their co-workers, and with everyone. So that's why it is important. It's very important for us as teachers, specifically in schools, because the kids, they spend more time with us as teachers. It's very important for us to care for this, to understand their emotions, their feelings, their thinking, their skills, their abilities, and everything that is around them that will affect them, not just academically, but also their personalities. Actually, I always say this quote, that our words, our treatment shapes their future. So that's why it is very important to understand how learning happens, how the brain works, and how the brain functions, and understand about the learning process itself. Okay, so the core principles of the brain based learning? What are the most important points? Actually, if we make a simple search or a quick search, we will find from 12 to 17 principles for the brain-based learning, but there are, of course, much more principles than these few points. I'll be sharing with you now again another video, but I will not be sharing all the videos for the just in sake of the time. I'll be sharing with you a few videos now on the principles and core of the brain-based learning. And I would like you to, please, while we are watching this video, I want you to start collecting important points about the principles of the brain-based learning. I'll be sharing with you later some other links in order for you to dig deeper or learn further about it. But please, during this presentation, during this video playing, try to collect as much as you can from the video, because we will be discussing them later and how we can include it in different age group and in different grades and with our students. What are the most important points in the very early age and what we can use when they grow older or go to upper grades. Okay. So okay, is it on now? Let's start.
Virtual learning that has impact and leads to lasting results, right? Then you need to be aware of 6 brain-based learning principles that will change the way you train, just like that. In this video, we'll look at the first 3 principles. Active engagement equals active brains. In our virtual classrooms, we want to bust the tendency to give talking head presentations. Why? Well, it's boring. Participants won't learn very much if their brains shut down or if they stop paying attention. Instead, engage your learners with polls, chats, and status checks every 2 to 3 minutes. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Great facilitators know that learning begins with what the learner already knows. Provide context and help learners connect new knowledge to their previous experience. Engage as many senses as possible to build the strongest neural connections for learners. That way, they can more easily remember and recall the content. Use dynamic stories and metaphors to help people make connections. If you want people to remember your key messages, you have to introduce those messages with a compelling story. Then the learning sticks. Vision trumps all other senses. This is a principle from John Medina's fascinating book, Brain Rules. In the virtual classroom, you must communicate memorable visual messages. That means your slides need to be compelling. Your graphics need to support your message, and you need to cut back on the amount of text on each slide. There you have it, 3 brain-based learning principles that will help you create virtual learning that has impact. Number 1, active engagement equals active brains. Number 2, neurons that fire together, wire together. And number 3, vision trumps all other senses.
Okay, class. Who
Okay,
would like to do
class.
problem 3 on the board? Please don't be me. Please don't be me. I know, Miss Einstein. Let's give someone else a try, Ralphie.
Doesn't want to stop. I'm so sorry. So, back to our presentation. So I'm going to ask you now, what do you think are the most important or effective principles that you caught from this video, according to your age group or the ones you're teaching? Please write me in the comments. Okay, so these were this video was only a part of the principles video. I will be sharing with you, or the admin will be sharing with you the other part, and I will also be providing some ideas to what are these principles and how we can dig deeper. So I sent it now. It will be sent to you shortly. Yes, so I started to receive the third one. Miss Ida, would you please tell us what was the third one? Active engagement, yes, the third principle. So I have few comments focusing on the third principle, and let's find out what are these principles. So when I was trying to search and look during my research and learning about the brain function, I found out that there are about 12 important core principles on the brain-based learning. These principles were designed to promote a better understanding of the findings of the neuroscientists and bridge the gap between the neuroscience and education. Because, if we look back like 10, 20 years ago, who would think of the connection between the neuroscience and education? The neuroscience, not just the brain, not just the IQ, not just that. So who was, trying to make the connection between this and that? So if we focus on these 12 core principles, we will find out that some of them, or most of them, are very important in the very early age with the children, because they are fresh, they are ready to learn, they want to learn, they want to explore, they want to hold anything and everything, they want to have it all. So how we can use these skills? So the brain, we need to know that these are the 12 principles of the brain, the most important ones. So the brain is a parallel processor. The brain is working all the time, where all the cells are working together at the same time in parallel mode. They are not just interacting or contradicting, or a part is working, then when it's done with its work, it moves to the other part and so on. No, they all work at the same time together. Just the same idea as how the neural sparks work, how they go out and reach their goal immediately. The learning engages the entire psychology, so it's not separated from the emotions. It's not separated from the feelings. It's not separated from the environment, and where do I come from? What am I facing at home? How my parents are treating me? How my friends are treating me? It's not separated from this. Learning actually includes all of this. If any of the students is having a bad day, it will affect his learning process. If any of the students is not feeling comfortable or not feeling safe in the learning environment, it will affect the learning process, and so on. So let's proceed. The search for meaning is innate. The search for meaning occurs through patterning. Emotions are critical to patterning. The brain processes parts and whole simulations. And also, learning involves both focus, attention, and perception. Learning always involves a conscious and unconscious process. We have at least two ways of organizing memory. We understand and remember best when facts and skills are embedded in natural and spatial memory. And complex learning is enhanced by challenge and inhibited by threat. And every brain is uniquely organized. And I believe so much in the last one, in number 12. I don't know if it's clear in this slide or not. But I believe so much that every brain is uniquely organized. Everyone and each one has his own way to organize things, to find strategies, his own strategies to remember and understand and connect things. Everyone has his own skills and abilities. So, how, as a responsible, whether the school principal, the parent, the teacher, whoever is responsible of teaching and learning with these children and teaching them, how can I use the maximum of their skills, develop it to have them have the ultimate understanding and learning? So these are the most important core principles for the brain-based learning. If I understand what are these principles, how do they work, I'll be able to teach any student, anywhere, any age, with any skills, and I'll be able to develop them. So now we will move to some of the strategies, the brain-based strategies, okay? The brain-based strategies are as simple as brainstorming, and we all use brainstorming. Usually we use the brainstorming in the beginning, in the very beginning of anything, everything, just to tackle the student's curiosity or thinking skills. But we can use the brainstorming strategy at the end of any lesson for the wrap up, just to remind them of it. Also, the graphic organizers are very important, and they are a great strategies for the brain. Why? Because how we use them is actually affecting, as we mentioned in the course, and it's connected to it. It is tackling the memory, tackling the vision, tackling the understanding, tackling the colors, the connection, and all of these things. If we look at some of these graphic organizers and its purposes, we will understand more how they go directly to the long memory part in the brain, not into the short memory. If we teach our students in that way, using the the graphic organizers or the frames or thinking ways, thinking routines and skills, it will go into their long memory part. And yes, Mr. or Miss Kiko, learning creates mind maps, and mind maps are the second part in this presentation. So just let's wait and find out together. So let's look at how a friendly classroom should look like. If we look at this picture, what can you tell me about it? What can you tell me about this picture? How can you describe this classroom? Yes, you can comment in the comment section. How does it look like? I see it organized. Can you guess about the advanced organized aid more in learning? Thank you, Ms. Aida. Can you guess the age of the students? Obviously, they are young. Maybe this is grade 2 or maximum grade 3 students. We can also say that it's colorful, it's clean, it's clear. The kids are happy. They feel. I can say that they are. Yes, Miss Riza, they are learning with happily, and I can say that they feel safe in this learning environment. And by saying safe, I mean that they are not afraid of judgments. They are not afraid of making mistakes. They are not afraid that someone will make fun of their wrong answers, or maybe mock them, or maybe bully them. Conductive, yes. Organized learning, yes. Comfortable, I totally agree with this. And whenever the kids are feeling comfortable sitting in the classroom, they will learn to the maximum, and they will be attached to their teacher too. And by talking about the teacher, where is the teacher in this picture, if you can say? Yes, the classroom is conductive in learning. Thank you, Ms. Joanna or Jonah. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name. Yes, the teacher is at the back. So the teacher doesn't give them the feeling that she's the one and only controller in the class. Actually, this gives them the feeling that they are also leaders, that they are also responsible for their own learning. And this gives them the feeling, the enthusiasm, and the will to learn, the will to engage, because they don't feel like they are being grabbed to learn. So she's sitting in the back, maybe for this reason, or maybe they are working on specific tasks. So if we look at this picture, this new picture now, I will also want you to look at all the details. And I think they are a bit older than the previous page. And we do not see the teacher in this picture, but what do we see here? What is very important in this picture? Group study of students. Yes. Collaboration. And how I love this word. Groupings. So what I can say that they are working in groups collaboratively and independently. They are understanding of the task. They are in engagement together. Yes, these are one of the principles of the brain-based learning. And parts of the brain responsible for learning, all the parts are responsible for everything. They are doing brainstorm, maybe, yes, the enhancement of knowledge and skills, sense of ownership in the given task. Is it possible in bank? Yes, it is possible with every student. And you know what? I think we share the same problem in Egypt, like the same problem with the amount of students in the classes. But you know what? From my research and from my experience and from my work, because what I say now is not based on research only. It's not something that is theoretically. This is something that I really experienced in classrooms. The more you have students, the better work, the better group work and interaction you will have from them. It not doesn't depend on the number of students. It doesn't depend on the culture, because you as a teacher can put your culture, put your rules, put your ideas and organization, and put them into routine. And it doesn't also depend on the content, the curriculum itself. It all depends on understanding the children, understanding the relationship between the teacher and the school and the students. It's all depends on the understanding of how do they learn best. It all depends on the approach, on how am I teaching them, not what am I teaching them. They will learn whatever they should through many other ways, in this way we see in these pictures. Yes, in think pair share activity, in the sharing ideas, the uh, children ate not comfortable. I did not see how this related, Mr. SB Younger. I would like to have more clarification on this comment. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, we have in some countries, in some areas, a big, large number of students in classes, but how we can organize them, how we can teach them in and understand the approach to reach their minds. How can I create a brain-friendly classroom? So if we continue and go back to our presentation, I would like to introduce to you how we can create a classroom brain-friendly environment. So the brain's time clock, the R is for repetition, active learning, images, and novelty. The brain's time, actually the brain runs on 90 to 120 cycles called the ultradian rhythm. So the brain works in rhythm. But we need also to understand that we need to accommodate these cycles. It is very important to vary instructions activities and spend no more than 12 to 15 minutes on focused attention on passive learning. Otherwise, we will lose the kids. They will not be engaged. We will find the boring children, the bored children, and we will find the attentioned ones, and we will lose their experience, their attention, their focus. If we move to the rest of the ideas, the repetition, and if we all understand about it, the kids in the very early age will learn different languages and other languages through patterning and repetition. But also the old ones can, the elders in the different other grades will learn from repetition, but not the same pattern, not the same way of repetition if they were children or in the age of 3 or 4 or 5 years. So one of the ways of repetition for the older students is to just post on the walls of the classroom the things that they have been learning about, maybe in bullet points, maybe in an experiment, maybe in anything, but it should be visualized in front of them on the walls, because whenever their eyes will be spotting these things on the walls, they will remember what was happening, what they were learning, the experience, maybe a word someone said, maybe something happened in the middle, and so on. So repetition, and these are a few approaches designers can use to create effective e-learning courses, such as pre-exposure, previewing, priming, reviewing, and revising. Also, active learning is when people learn by doing, and this is very effective. And if you understand about this part, if you focus on this part, actually the students will learn more than 70 to 90% from what they are doing or they are engaged in, more than from what they see or hear or receive from others. So by doing, they will learn more, they will become energized, they stick with the content, and they learn more. This increases the blood flow around the body, improving learners' memory and retrieval and confidence. Images. The brain responds best to visual contents. All of the information it absorbs around 80 to 90% from the visuals, and that's why I always advise to include pictures, include colors, include the color coding, and we will see this in the mind mapping, how the colors and images and pictures help us in remembering things more. And also novelty. When learners see something new in the brain, as students know the stimuli has the potential to reward them in some ways. So this motivates learners to seek out the rewards. And yes, as some of you are saying in the comments, and Mr. Isa, active learning through constructivism and experiential learning. And this is the most effective way of learning. But remember that we still need the theories, and we still need them to learn some facts. So, as colors connects the neural pathways, people remember colors better than verbal or textual. The scientists believe that around 90% of learning is non-conscious, which means non-verbal communication is of the central importance in e-learning courses. Emotions are vital to attention, perception, memory, and problem solving. So emotions are also very important. Including problem solving in e-learning makes content more relatable to the real world. Effective e-learning courses often allow students to gather information, conceptualize a problem, generate possible outcomes, and publicity present to final results. So if we can summarize what is the brain-based learning, we can say be colored, automatic learning, social brain, elicit emotions, and develop thinking skills. Okay, so if we have come to the end of the brain-based part and how to create the brain-based friendly classroom. I hope you all put in consideration all of these parts and understand how the brain functions in order to help our students learn. So we will move now to the part of what can we do and how we can train our brain to function, how we can organize our thoughts and ideas. And as Mr. Kiko and I mentioned earlier about the brain, the mind map. So the mind map actually is created by this scientist, Tony Buzan. And actually, this is his CV. This is everything about him. This is everything you need to know. Who is he? What did he work? Where did he go? The books he wrote, who he trained, what are his interests, and so on. So the importance of the mind map is actually to summarize a whole topic into points and pictures and colors. So Mr. Tony Buzan, of course, is a big writer and a scientist who wrote several books on the brain function and how the brain works, and he's the main founder of the idea of the mind maps. So, what do we need to have a mind map? We will be looking at many examples. We need to have a main, and this main idea is the main thing right in the middle, the things that we are going to talk about or learn about or search about or whatever. We also need to use imagination and visualize. We need to make some associations. We need connections, central image, which will make will mean thousands of words, as we all know this code. Image means thousands words. We need branches, levels of ideas, curves, and colorful. Why we need curves between the ideas? Because actually this is how exactly the brain cell look like. We can compare the mind maps into anything that we just learned. It will be compared to the brain cell. Okay, so what we need to do to create mind maps to help us remember, plan, organize, study, brainstorm, finalize, wrap up, or assess, we can use these mind maps. So we put the main idea right in the middle. We use colors to color code parts and areas. We use related concepts. We use words and images. We use uppercase and lowercase and keywords, outline and order. We can do whatever we would like in this idea of mind maps in order to plan, to teach, to present, to show, or whatever we would like to do and remember. So if we apply this on the brain parts, the left and the right, we will look at the left part with words, numbers, lines, logic, structure, analysis. And we can add colors and words and pictures and images to all these sides to help connect with the right side of the brain. The right side of the brain, we will find it with colors, associations, images, rhythm, imagination, and shapes. So if we combine all these together, we will be pushing the brain to work as a whole function, as a whole part, not just in working with the skills of the left part and not or maybe not using some of the parts in the right parts, or some of the skills, some of the benefits of the right parts. Actually, we're using all the parts, but I mean, we're not using and developing the skills used in the other parts of the brain. So if we do so, if we include all these things, we will be able to push all the thinking skills, or the cognition, or the cognitives into the metacognition parts. The concept map, Mr. S.P. Young, of course, the concept map are very important, are very related to what we're doing. The mind maps, the concept map are also mind maps, but it depends on the concept itself. So, for example, we will have the concept in the main part in the middle, and then we will have everything related around it in the branches. I have some examples, Mr. SB, uh, for the concepts, specifically that math is taught within concepts. So let's look at the rest of the presentation until we reach this part. So these are some graphic organizers that are considered as mind maps. This is why I was mentioning the graphic organizers and the brainstorming strategies as brain strategies, because they train the brain, they help the brain, uh, they enrich the thinking skills, and so on. And of course, these can be used according to what is the topic, what is the main, and when, why, and what we are working on. So, what is a map? The mind map is a diagram, a graphic organizer that helps students visualize what they are reading and detect connections between individual pieces of information. In a classic mind map, you'll always find the subject. In our example, the title of the book. So, mind maps can be anything and everything. They have benefits. We can use it for the planning, for for collaboration, for productivity and creativity in these different ways. And I enjoy looking at this one because it is actually summarizing what is a mind map, what can I do, who can do the action, who's responsible for which part, who can do what, and so on. So, and it also helps with the creativity, with the application, production, colors, and basics, and all these things. So, if we go deeper into how can I use it into learning, specifically and especially with the technology integration. So, this is how I can integrate the technology within mind maps. Uh, I will be mentioning also some of the websites that can help you use mind map or create e-mind maps, electronic mind maps. Send them, share them, and work with them with your students if you are working online or remotely. This is a mind map in chemistry, and of course it's for olders, and we can say that this is also a graphic organizer, not just a mind map. This is a mind map example in math for the young children. It has different colors, it has the main, it has the sub topics, it has the details, it has pictures, it has many things. And this one that I really adore uh, is for math, but for olders, and it's talking about measurement. So here we can use this in steps. If you are a math teacher and you want to create a mind map on to sum up all this chapter, all this topic of measurement, you can start step by step with the students. Okay, so for example, you can start with the comparison and estimation and put it on the map on the wall. Then you add the identification. Then later in a different lesson, you add the transitivity. And later you add about instruments we use. And from this part, you go deeper, you go further and further in the examples of the mind maps teaching. and so on. There's also this website. It's called Whimsical. It's one word. I don't know why it is actually presented. Maybe I made it too big, but it is called Whimsical. You can use this website to create free, of course, mind maps, to create them for planning, for teaching, um, for working with the students, to ask them to do their own, to teach them, and so on. So you can also use this website. And of course, there are the upgrade versions of the mind maps and ideas. And of course, you can include links for them to work on, post video links, put things and pictures, and so on. So now it is time to, I'm done with the presentation for today. I hope I summarized many things regarding how the brain function, the brain-based learning, and the friendly classroom environment, and helped you with some of the planning strategies and learning strategies. I would like to move to the next part with Ms. Nasiri. And I would like to thank you all for your interaction.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for sharing all the things about brain-based learning. And I believe that, and I expect that our participants get benefited from the presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we will come back with you in our Q&A session after the quiz competition segment. So till then, please stay with us and enjoy our quiz segment. Thank you. Okay, so dear participants, it's time for quiz. The code is already flashed on our screen. And you can directly go to www.slido.com and the code that is IGP. Put your full name because it will be printed in the winner's certificates. And we have another 2 essays to join in our quiz segment. We will share the link in our comment box, and you can see this QR code that will be flashed when you start our quiz segment. All right. So get ready for our quiz segment, and don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friends in our comments. And also get ready with your questions to ask our speaker in our Q&A segment. So enjoy this short video. After this video, we will start our live quiz segment. All right, so welcome everyone in our live quiz segment. Yes, and we have shared the joining link in our comment box. So you can click it and you can join in our live quiz competition. Yes, and also you can see the QR code that is flashed on our screen. You can scan the QR code and just directly you can in our live quiz competition. Okay. And the code is also given shared on a screen, that is IGP. So I'm requesting everyone, please share this in your timeline and mention and list your 5 friends in the comments. And right now we have 32 participants in our live quiz segment, and I'm waiting for more participants. And today, top 10 will be awarded with quiz competitions. And please note that there is no relation between the quiz competition winner certificates and the international certificates. We will share the international webinar code after the QA session, QA segment in our certification process. So you have to be with us till the end of our program. So we have right now 38 participants and you'll be happy to know that our speakers is also a part of our live quiz. So she is joined with us. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so we have Ma'am Kiangi Saya, Ma'am Christina, Sir JB Apercio, Ma'am Gina Leen, Ma'am Nancy, Sir Michelle, Ma'am Ria. We have Ma'am Dia Fakula, Ma'am Rosidia Source, Ma'am Glendon, Sir Mailing Vigayas. We have Ma'am Janelle, Ma'am Annabella, Ma'am Jacqueline. Okay, Sir Kiko. We have Ma'am Ida Ramirez. We have Ma'am Janeline Estela Cruz, Ma'am Rochelle, Ma'am Bia Marie, Ma'am Jama Benilada, Ma'am Christina. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma'am Arjin, for joining us. Alright, so we will take a last 1 more minutes, then we will start it. Alright, so get ready for the quiz. Let's start it. So here is the first question that is flashed on your screen. The question is, problem-based learning is learning that is student-centered and often involves an authentic problem, or option number 2, gaining knowledge through experience. So you have to choose one option and you have only 3 seconds left to choose your answer. Okay, so 90% of our participants think option number 1 is correct, and 10% goes with option number 2. So 90% of our participants got the correct answer. That is option number 1. Okay, so right now we have Sir Daviso France leading on first position in this first round. Following Ma'am Rosity Source, we have Ma'am Charlene Kalamaguchi, Ma'am Jamali Rivera, and Sir January Singh. Alright, so let's see the next question. Each question give 20 seconds to give your answer. Choose your answer. So get ready for the next question. Here it is. What influences learning? Option number one, biological and social influences. Option number two, biological, psychological, and social influences. All right, so 100% of our participants goes with the correct answer. That is option number two, biological, psychological, and social influences. So congratulations to all of you. All right, so we have Sir January Cindy leading on top in the second round, following Ma'am Christina Vidal Rosario, Ma'am Gemma Lada, Ma'am Cheryl, and then finally Ma'am Cheryline Kalahaman. Okay, so get ready for next question. Question number three. Initial stage of learning is option number one, acquisition, or option number two, spontaneous recovery. So 95% of our participants got the correct answer. That is option number one, acquisition. Congratulations. Okay, so we have Ma'am Christina Vidal Rosario leading on top in this third round, following Ma'am Charlene Kalamaguchi, Ma'am Gemma Benalada, Ma'am Jacqueline Pasa, and finally Ma'am Emery Picasso. All right, moving to next question, question number four. What is discovery learning? Option number one, inquiry-based approach focused on problem solving. And option number two, learners engage with their environment. All right, so the correct answer is option number one. 91% of our participants got the correct answer. Okay, once again, we have Ma'am Christina Vidal Rosario placed first position in our leaderboard, following Ma'am Charlene Kalamaguchi, we have Ma'am Pia Marie Picasso, Ma'am Jacqueline Pessa, and Ma'am Nancy Barotta. Okay, let's see the next question. What are some examples of brain-based learning? Option number one, movement, and option number two, giving a pop quiz as punishment. Alright, the right answer is movement, and 73% of our participants goes with the correct answer. Okay, still we have Ma'am Christina Vidal Rosario leading on top. Following Ma'am Pia Marie Picasso, we have Ma'am Gemeline Vera, Ma'am Charlene Kalahamakuchi, and Sir Alan Convertus. So let's proceed to the next question. Learning based on consequences is called option number one, operant conditioning, and option number two, associative learning. So 58% of our participants got the correct answer. That is operant conditioning. Yes, congratulations, those answered correctly. Okay, so in this round we have Ma'am Pia Marie Picasso leading on top, following Ma'am Jameline Rivera, Ma'am Charlene Kalamaguchi, Ma'am Cheryl Anna Infante, and Ma'am Kiefer Rivera. Okay, so moving to next question. Learning something again quickly is called priming or relearning. right, so the time is up. Correct answer is real learning. And 87% of our participants got the correct answer. Okay, so we have Ma'am Charilyn Kalamaguchi leading on top in this round, following Ma'am Jamalyn Rivera, Ma'am Emery Biposo, Ma'am Charilyn and Infante, and Ma'am Kiefer Rivera. All right, we have last 3 more questions. Let's proceed to the next question. New learning interrupting recall of old information is retroactive interference or proactive interference. So 81% of our participants got the correct answer. That is option number 1. Okay, so we have again Ma'am Charilyn Kalamaguchi in our leaderboard, leading on top, following Ma'am Jamalyn Rivera, Ma'am Emery Biposo, Kiefer Rivera, and finally Ma'am Evelyn Rivera. Okay, let's see the next question. Choose the correct meaning of behaviorist learning theory. Option number 1, it is focusing mainly on what is directly observable. Option number 2, the people learn as they are in constant reaction with their environment. All right, the right answer is option number 1, and almost 16% of our participants got the right answer. Okay, so we have Ma'am Charilyn Kalamaguchi once again leading on top, following Ma'am Evelyn Rivera. We have Ma'am Emery Biposo, Ma'am Jamalyn Rivera, and finally Ma'am Kiefer Rivera. Okay, last one more question. Then we will get our winners top 10 quiz competition. Differences in learning based on abilities, interests, or experiences. Learning diversity or differentiated instruction. So the right answer is learning diversity. 68% of our participants got the correct answer. So let's see our winners. Congratulations, Ma'am Charilyn Kalamaguchi. You are leading on top. Following Ma'am Evelyn Rivera placed second. We have Ma'am Jamalyn Rivera placed third. We have Ma'am Emery Biposo placed fourth. Ma'am Kiefer Rivera placed fifth. Let's see the next team. Yes, we have Sir Maylin Vika has placed sixth. Ma'am Ida Ramirez Martinez placed 7. Sir Eleanor Brutus placed 8. Ma'am Rosita Source placed 9. Ma'am Cheryl and Infante placed 10. So congratulations to our top 10 winners. So congratulations to our top 10 quiz competition winners, and we will post your certificates after the program in our Facebook official. So don't forget to collect your certificates. And let me remind all of you, don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friends in our comments. Now we are moving to our next segment, that is Q&A with our honorable speakers. Yes, and after the short video, we'll come back with Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, I'm still here.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for participating in our quiz segment.
Thank you.
So, dear participants, dear knowledge seeker, if you have any question or any query that you want to ask our speaker, don't hesitate just to go to our comment box and put your question. And we are waiting for your question.
Hello, everyone. If you would like to ask any questions or ask for maybe resources or anything, I can send it, of course, in the private chat. So do you have any questions?
Okay, we have our first question from Sir Ray Powell Liquid. Ma'am Aichin, what is the best brain-based learning strategies in your opinion?
Okay. Hello, Mr. Ray. I believe there's not a specific one and only strategy for the brain-based learning because as we said in the beginning of the presentation that each brain is unique. So imagine if you're working with 10, 20, 30, 50 students in the classroom. So there's no one specific strategy I would say that is my favorite. I would say that all the strategies are important, all the strategies are effective. A combination of strategies will be more easier for you to apply with the um, uh, different styles of students, different learning styles, different personalities, and different background too. But I encourage you to try the many and different strategies, and you will find out what is best for you and for your students. And remember, the next class will be different, so the strategies will be different too.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so still we are waiting for our participants' question. Okay, so we have our next question from Sir Alan Rodriguez. Do you have any recommended brain-based learning strategies in hybrid or high flex teaching?
So, if we are looking at recommended brain based learning strategies, I would recommend you look and search for the collaborative learning techniques because these learning techniques will include a lot of combinations of brain based strategies like the collaboration, the repetition, the understanding, the cognitive and metacognition. All of these are included in the collaborative learning techniques. Remember to make a good bond with your students, have a good relationship with them, make them trust you and respect you first, and then they will learn anything and everything from you. When we reach this point, please trust them to be independent learners. They will be able to carry on their learning process with your guidance, and they will be able to apply the strategies and learning techniques independently under your supervision. So again, as the previous question, I do not recommend a specific strategy. I recommend you look at all of them, you try and try and try many of them and find out and decide on what's best for you and for your current students.
So next question, thank you, ma'am. Next question is from Isaiah Kiengi from Kenya, from Aishi. How do we apply brain-based learning to children with special needs, autistic and learning difficulties?
Okay, so actually, the brain based learning was originally designed for the special needs children. What pushed the scientists to learn about the brain-based function and the brain-based learning process was how can we teach students with autism and learning difficulties, and they started of course to categorize and divide differentiate between the different learning difficulties and the autistics and how severe it is, how the features are hard, severe, it is early stage or late stage. But we can actually benefit from understanding more about the case we have and design a differentiated, personalized learning plan for it according to what frustrates an autistic child, what makes him angry, what makes him not engaged, how can I grab his attention, how can I pop his bubble. And this is actually a very hard and professional step to work with an autistic child. But again, it depends on the case itself and how severe it is, and understanding everything. Of course, you will need the help and the guidance of the parents and someone specialized outside of the school, maybe the doctor or the center the parents are working with to modify and work on the plan. I had a student who was born with a low vision, and then later he lost it when he was in KG1, which is the foundation stage one. He was only 3, 4 years old. And we collaborated with the Blind Center for Vision to create his own special workshops because he's using his other senses than the sight. So we collaborated with this center, of course, in collaboration with his parents, and we were able to create a learning process and learning plan for this child, of course. So again, it depends on the case and the personalized plan.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next question is from Sir Kiko. Does brain-based learning acknowledge stress as part of challenge?
Yes, Mr. Kiko, actually, it helps a lot with the stress as part of the challenge because when I understand what is this student going through, his background, I'll be able to help him, to support what he needs to learn, to calm down, to comfort him. So I'll be able to make him feel that he can trust, he can express, he can feel, and he can go through whatever he's going with my support, with the school support, with with the big understanding. So of course, the brain-based learning will acknowledge the stress as part of the challenge.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question is from Ma'am Susan. Ma'am, what about social cognitive approach?
What about the social cognitive approach? Okay, the social cognitive approach is actually the current situation that all the relationships that we have with whoever is around us. So the social cognitive approach is also one of the good approaches that will understand the environment that this student is living within, how we can deal with these situations, how we can understand about what they are going through, if they are going through financial, emotional, physical troubles, and all these things. We can also, work in parallel with the other strategies, with the brain-based, with the concept-based, and all the other bases to teach our students.
Thank you, ma'am. And next question is from Ma'am Evelyn Perry. Good afternoon, ma'am. What is the best brain-based strategy for slow learners? Thank you. And I was going to ask a question like this. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
For the slow learners, we need to identify why they are slow, why they are not focusing, what are the causes of this. Because it depends if they have some genetic problems or maybe genetic features, characteristics, or there are other elements are causing this. But what we can do to teach the slow learners actually with the routines. Routines are more the most important part. How we can we consist on pushing them to think, to engage, to participate, to express themselves, to feel safe to answer questions, to feel safe to give a wrong answer, but to know what is wrong and how we can fix it, how we can learn from these mistakes. And it's okay to make mistakes because we are allowed to, but it's not okay to repeat the same mistake again and again without learning from it or generating strategies to solve problems. So slow learners are actually maybe unmotivated students.
Yes, I agree.
This is my opinion.
Thank you so much. And we are taking the last question from Jacqueline Bessa. How brain-based learning affects education, ma'am? Thank you so much for your answer.
Thank you all for your questions and your participation, of course. So, how the brain-based learning affects education? Actually, it is all about learning. It is learning in school, learning academics, learning outside the school, behavior, dealing with others, working with others, collaborating, conflicting even. So, understanding how the brain-based learning theory works will actually help us modify it and make personalized learning plans for the different students. It helps so much in schools, especially with the big number of students we have in some of our countries. It helps so much to understand the learning difficulties students. It helps so much in working with the anger issues with students. Actually, it helps in creating a safe, learning, calm, collaborative, cooperative learning environment in a school that the kids will carry out these things with them outside to the real world.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am Aichi, for sharing your knowledge with our participants. And the way you share your presentation, it was very smoothly and very easy to catch every point of your slide. So thank you so much once again. And I'm looking forward to another program with you in our platform.
Thank you.
So, do you have any message for our participants?
Yes, I would like to ask you to keep learning, to believe in yourselves, have faith in your abilities and skills. Never give up trying, keep learning all the time because this will make you develop. Things happen. Unfortunately, things may happen. Drops may happen, but you still can stand up for yourself, stand up on your feet, keep learning from the past and from everything around you. Learning is life. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
everyone,
much.
and thank you, Ms. Asiri.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. So, dear participants, we are moving to our next segment, that is certification process. And after the short video, we will share the code. Then you can get your international e-certificates from our website. So enjoy the short Thanksgiving video. So you can see certification process on the screen. Today's program name is Brain-Based Learning and the program code is IGP5211. So please note down or write down the code that is IGP5211, and without code no one is eligible for certificates, and with this code you can claim your certificates anytime. And you can also visit our website. Our website address is www.eduigp.com. So visit our website and collect your certificates. Okay, so without an account on our website, you can visit, but you cannot do anything functionally. Yes. Alright, so I'm inviting all of you to our next session tonight. So don't miss it. Invite your friends and your family person to our webinar so that they can also learn and gather knowledge from our live session. Yes, thank you so much everyone for your cooperation and your attachment. Really, it encourages us to do better and give the best service to all of you. And we want all of you to in this long journey to go more and more. Thank you so much. Till then, next session, stay safe and take care of yourself. Thank you once again. Thank you so much, Ma'am Nancy. All right. So everyone, have a great day and don't miss our next session. Till then, keep safe. I'm signing off right now. Have a great day to all of you. Yes, see you later. Bye bye.